Not says a close friend of mine once told me, "Don't delete yourself. Time will do it for you." Yeah, unfortunately, yes, we are all going to be victims of that homicidal maniac time. I plan to live forever, but more than likely, I'm not. But yeah, it's pretty wild, man. We got Shan up here. What's up, Shantae? Go ahead. What's up?
Hey, Chaos.
How you
As I
doing?
like to call you.
It's been a long time. What's up?
What, what is the drama? I stopped by and I just hear
Oh,
all
that's
this
the intro.
noise.
That's just the intro. That's the
I was like,
intro.
it's chaotic
Yeah, that's the intro.
being
Yeah,
chaotic
yeah,
today.
yeah. No,
Normal behavior.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I like the top. I mean, I'm glad that you are. So if anybody has never seen me before, I smile when I'm, even if I'm sad, I balance myself by smiling. So I think that, take my smiles for. But yeah, this hits, I'm glad that you're talking about this because I did have a friend who I was, close to who experienced something like this. But she was truly meant like it was a chemical imbalance.
Mm.
So,
Where
which
did
is a
it come
little,
from? Where do you think it came from? The chemical imbalance.
well, her story, what I did not know at the time was that her dad also had what she had. Hers
Mm.
was more of a paranoia, schizophrenia. I don't know if there's a
Right.
such thing. I don't know the terms of it. I just know the experience. You want me to tell the story because I don't mind telling the story.
Please.
And I like to share this story because I feel like I could have been better had I known. I had never met, you hear things like schizophrenia, you hear all these things, but if you've never experienced it, you really don't know. And so I remember she called me from the hospital. She's like, hey, can you, now mind you, this is a friend who I had known for 15 plus years, right? But we speak maybe 3 times a year.
I got you.
But when we get together, we have a great time,
I got you. I got you. And where did you guys meet at, by the way? Where'd you guys meet?
Work.
Oh, work. Okay.
Yeah. She
Okay.
was an intern for the company that I worked for at the time.
Mm.
And so we became real close because she's a cool chick, like so cool to hang around. Like just I can't even, just wonderful girl. Anyhow, she called me from the hospital and she's like, come pick me up. It was domestic violence. And I was like, girl, what? And so I drive up to the hospital and they had her come out a back door. And so she got in my car. Red flag number one. She had a purse in her hand. And she's like, I got to get rid of this purse. I think he tapped my purse. And so we went into a neighborhood and she just threw it out of the window. And I was like, girl, and so I just let it be because I didn't know the story at that point. So we get to the house and it's storming outside. Now, I don't live in the city of Atlanta. I live maybe 20 minutes out of Atlanta, right? And it's storming. And she's like, I think he's following us. And I'm looking like, how can you even see? Because
But this is her paranoia. But I get
yeah, it's like storming to the point where you can't even see. You know how sometimes it rains so hard you can't even see behind you. So there was a neighborhood that I was familiar with.
It's like driving through Florida when it's raining. Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. So I went through a neighborhood and I was like, okay, see, nobody's behind us. So you can rest assured he's, it's a quiet neighborhood. There were no cars. If he was, he'd be gone by now. So we get to the house. Everything is fine. She's pacing. Now she stayed with me like 3 weeks. She's pacing. She gave me a lot. So she has a lot of money. She just gave me money to stay in my house. I'm like, you don't have to.
Go ahead.
Give me money
my
to
friend,
stay in my
my friend. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna tell you about my friend. Yeah,
you don't have to give me money to stay. I mean, $2,000 for 3 weeks. I said, girl, keep that money. It's not that serious, right? And so,
and that was
just her trying to find a safe place, right?
Yeah.
She was just so anxious. And so I was like, okay, at this point, I didn't see that being a red flag. I really thought her husband was after her. And so I was like, okay, cool. You can stay here. My apologies. Hold on for a second. My daughter.
Okay.
I think we're good now.
All right, sounds good.
Yes. Anyhow, and so she comes in, and I'm trying to, because she didn't know the story. She knew the girl, but she didn't know the story. But anyway, so she comes and she stays with me. We're having fun, everything. But I started to notice little things like she was drinking more. She was calling these guys, and she would like hook up basically. And I'm like, girl, that is not even your kid. It was just out of character for her, so to speak. And so she had this one professional basketball player, I'm not going to name his name, who she dated before she got married. And she wanted to go to his place because she felt safe there, because this guy particularly has cameras everywhere. And I remember her mentioning the cameras, she could see, because she thought her husband was after her. And so I'm like, okay. So she went there for a minute and then she came back. And so then she, the $20 bills, how they had that little strip on them, the new $20 bills.
Yeah, the security strip.
Yeah. She's like, I believe he put this in my heat. She thought that was like a tab. Like, she thought that was like him. I said, girl, that's a new bill. Like, I was like, let me show you. I have one. And I was like, that's just how they make the bills. Then she has security cameras in her. She owned a home too, where her husband was living. And so she thought that she had security cameras. She was like, it's something, he's in my attic. And she had cameras installed in the attic. And she's like, look at this. And I'm getting freaked out at this point. And I'm looking, I'm like, I don't hear what she's hearing, I was like, but you hear noise because it's an attic, but I'm thinking it may be the AC something besides that, right? So that was just another. At that point, I still was just thinking she's just overreacting, right? And so I knew she had a handgun, and she did ask me, do you feel safe with this? I said, well, I don't want it in my house because I have a child. You can keep it in your car. You don't have to sell it, but it cannot come into my house. So she did say, okay, for the life of me, I wish I had just said, pawn the gun, and so she did not. She kept it in her car. And so fast forward, I'm trying to make a long story short.
No, you're good.
I met a person. This is how God works. I believe in God. I had just met this guy out, right? My apologies. No, I had just met this guy out, and I remember him saying, he gave me his number, never, and I remember him saying that he had a degree, and he did his research because he's in medicine now. He did his research in psychiatry. And so I was starting to think like, okay, this was what made me think that, okay. We were on our way to DC because she's great when she's out of town. I was like, let me just get her out of town. So I was like, I took some days off. Let's go to DC. We drove to DC. On the way to DC, you know how those trucks with the back out? What's that kind of truck called with the back out? You know what I'm talking about?
You're talking about with the
trucks that guys, with the back out that you can sit in the back.
The bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bed. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you know how the truck, if you look at it, it goes like there's an indent. Anyway, the way the truck is made, we're driving. She was like, does he have his car door open? I said, driving on the interstate? No, the door is closed. I was like, girl, you have lost sleep. Go to bed. Just take a nap. I'll drive the way, because we drove. So we get to DC. She asked, can she go get another cell phone? I said, sure, because she felt like her husband had tapped her cell phone. I'm sorry, y'all.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. It's a guy thing.
She did not. She did not know. Yeah. So she had a cell phone. I remember we went to Verizon first. She had a Verizon phone. She's like, I don't want this cell phone. So she swapped that phone out to get another phone.
Yeah.
That night, she said, I think he got into my phone. I'm going to go to T-Mobile. We went to T-Mobile. She took that phone back because she hadn't had it long. Went to T-Mobile. And she tried to influence us that he had tapped the T-Mobile phone. And I thought, ma'am, you are in D.C. How could he have flown? I said, think about this, please.
And where did he live at?
In Atlanta. I said, so you're telling me your husband flew to DC, went to T-Mobile, chose that rep to choose that phone, because there are plenty of phones in the back, and gave it to you. I said, that's just not, that doesn't make any sense. Now, mind you, I want people to understand 80% of the time she's normal. It was just these 20% that were just standing out. Okay, this is the biggest story right here.
Go ahead.
I have security cameras around my house. And so she wakes me up at 4:00 in the morning when we're about to go to DC. And she goes, hey, I think my husband is outside. And I'm like, what? And so I'm on the floor. You should have seen me like crawling, looking out the window. But my house, the way it's set up, I have big bushes on my second floor, because you walk into the second. You look down, but you can see the first, but it's stairs. Like, how brownstones have those stairs?
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to look past the bushes. So then I'm like, okay, well, I'll go upstairs, but I have a patio upstairs. So I'm crawling outside, trying to see who's outside, and I don't see anything. And then I thought, well, why don't I look at the security camera? I mean, the panel. Yeah. So I go to the panel, and I go to the panel, and she says, see right there, there he is. And I looked at her, I was like, baby, that's a bush. I don't see a man. She's like, you don't see that bald-headed guy with the, I said, no. And I said, you know what? You are deprived of sleep. I need you to go to bed, because she used to prance in the middle of the night, And so that was when I knew something was wrong, right? Besides the cell phone, because that went into the cell phone part. We drove to DC. That was the morning of DC, and we drove to DC. My girlfriend had a brother who was going to do something similar, and she brought it to my attention. So at that point, I'm her friend. I'm going to try to get you some help, right? So I called the guy that I remember saying that he had a psych background. And I just ran, some things by him. He told me I would need to diagnose her in person, but it sounds like she has this. He said, now, it sounds like it's later stages. So you may want to influence her to go get some help, right? But she had told me that she was seeing a therapist. So in my mind, therapy. But therapy is like a it can be a counselor, it could be a psychologist. She needed a psychiatrist. That was a totally different, it was just very different. And so you can't make people do, all I can do is say, hey, I don't mind going to get my mental health checked out. Like I try to be a supportive friend and say, how about let's both go
together?
Because I know that's like a sensitive subject to people. And so I'm like, look, you go get yours checked out. I know I be crazy sometimes. Let me go get mine checked out, right? And I'll go with you. And so we were trying to make an appointment. We did not make an appointment because she just kept reneging on it, or so to speak. Well, we didn't make an appointment, make it to the appointment. And so at that point, he told me if she does not want to get help, you may want to get her out of your house. And so it freaked me out. And I was like, okay. So what I did was I told her she loved my kid. And so she's like, I said, if your husband is out for you, then maybe you should go stay with your mom, because I don't want my kid to be in danger. I just put it that way instead of another way. And so she went to stay with her mom. And so she kept, calling me to check up. Now she had a difficult backstory, but I won't go into that. But she kept calling me. She's like, I just let you know with my mom. And I thought, yes, because your parents, people of kin, can get you help, right?
Yeah.
And so she called me. She left there. She went to this guy's house who had kids.
Yeah.
And the guy contacted me. She said I was a person of contact. And we were just talking. I was like, I just want to make sure she's okay. And I would check in with her daily. Now, a week later, I'll never forget, it was Fam's homecoming. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll invite her to Fam's homecoming. And because you remember, she's only like that. And when she goes out of town, she's better. So I'm like, hey, let's go to Fam. I call her on Wednesday. Hey, we're going to go to Fam's homecoming. She's like, I'll think about it. Thursday, I contact her. Friday, she calls me at work. I had a missed call from her. I said, okay. She playing. I call her. When I tell you the missed call, I call her right back because I was in the middle of teaching. And so I was like, hey, I really need it, And so I called her back. She did not answer. I called her back again and she did not answer. I didn't think anything of it because I'm thinking she's just calling me about the fam trip, right? And so that Saturday morning when we were supposed to go to fam, she calls me. No, I get a phone call from her phone number. And it was her mom telling me she had done it to herself the day before. And I think that she was calling me before that incident took place. And that she had that gun that I should have. To this day, I just wish I would have told her to pawn that damn gun. Yeah. She used that gun. And I want people to understand, I think that she tried to fight it. Like, this is a girl who, let me tell you, one of the first things she told me at Pete when I picked her up from the hospital was, one, I need to get my blood pressure medicine because, I don't want my blood pressure to go up. So she was conscious about her health. But when it came to mental health, for some strange reason, she didn't want to accept that. Right. And so after speaking to her, even when we had conversations, she did mention her dad was like that. And so I'm thinking it must be, I don't know how that works, if it's genetics or anything of that nature. But she did mention that her dad was the same way. Let me just tell you, when I saw the Regina Hall, what's her name? Regina King situation.
Oh, with her son. Yeah, with her son.
Yes.
Yep.
And that's your son.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you, when you experience that, even from a person who I feel like I'm mentally sane, it takes you through. You're like the woulda, coulda. It's just a traumatic experience to the point where, let me tell you, if I wasn't as healthy as I was mentally, that would have drove me, because it's just, it just plays with your mind a little bit. You know, you never think a person who loved life, who was just so, and then just one day you just, it never did I think that she would do that, because if had I thought she'd do that, then obviously this would be a different conversation. I just thought that, hey, we just got to get her some help, get her some medicine so that she can be better. And then that situation happened. It was just, let me tell y'all, it was definitely a situation. So, at first I was a little upset. I was like, dang, I should, because it played with me. But now I'm in a place where, you can spot something going on. I'm around people, adults all the time. And now I know how this works and how I can go about getting them help, because I researched it just in case I'm ever in this situation again where I can help somebody,
How long ago did this happen?
This was in 2021.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
2021.
And you guys were like the same age?
No, she was younger than me. She was maybe, she was an intern while I was working. So she was like 4 years. She was this, she was maybe 3 or 4 years younger than me.
I had a friend who did that, and it's like a similar story. Like he was always like he went down a rabbit hole with conspiracies, and he used to tell some wild stuff, like they're agents, like everybody's an agent.
That's how it started. They think people are after them, right?
They think people are after them, but they think like but he went to some deep shit, like, and to the point where we started like, I never thought about that before, man. And then he felt like a lot of people were like anybody, like he went to the grocery store, like the cashier was like, it was like some sort of big surveillance operation. And I'm like, okay, well, it could be. I mean, the CIA, we have intelligence organizations, and he started doing things like we'd drive somewhere and he'd say pull over, or he'll be driving, he'll pull over and he'd give random people $50, $100 just for random people just walking down the street. And it wasn't like he was giving bums money. He would just be like, hey man, I'm just, I just felt like doing something nice for somebody. And we just thought it was like, and then he started giving us money and we wouldn't take the money. And then he'd just like force it on us. Like, no, man, take it. And then he started giving away like his computers and stuff like that. And then he didn't have a great relationship. His father had died. He was an older guy, but his mom, he didn't have a good relationship with his mom for whatever reason. And he started giving away like his computers and stuff. And then, then we got the news one day. And then his mom sort of blamed it on us. Like, well, if you knew he was doing all this, why at the funeral, if you knew he was doing all this, why didn't you say something? Like, I mean,
you didn't know. You just don't know.
You've never had a problem with you. He didn't have a problem with, go ahead. Yeah. That stuff is wild. Yeah, it's like the same pattern. Yeah.
And when that incident happened, I started to, when I share my story to people, everybody has a story, right? And people start telling. I had this one girl who I went to college with, and when I shared my story at homecoming, because it was very new, and we were sharing a room, I did not know she was schizophrenic, and both of her parents met in a mental hospital, and she is an activist, and she takes her medicine, and you would never, like, she goes on normal, but she caught it early. She takes the medicine daily. She doesn't mind taking the medicine daily. And it works if you get the help. It's just getting people to get into, going to get the help. And so I just, and you would think that'd be something you could just put in, I'm not going to say that, put in, drink or something so they can just take the medicine. That's illegal. So, but I don't know. It's so many laws to protect. If there's so many laws to stop you from medicating people, even though to me, if they don't know, if it's something going on mental, I don't know. I'm just like,
what do you think in America? Like, to me, right? Every day is Friday in America. To me, I'm just talking about me, right? I've never been a depressed person. I may have cried one time, but it was out of joy when the Cavs won the 2016 championships. To me, right, I have a great outlook on life. It's like, how does all of this depression in America happen in this great country? You ever thought about that? Like, how in America? You don't hear about people offing themselves in like Africa or something, or really poor places. You always hear about this stuff in the States. Or in the Western Hemisphere. What do you think about that?
I think some of it is, genetics. I think some of this is a thought. This is not, I'm not
Yeah.
a doctor. I think maybe environmental,
Mm.
possibly. I think that, and that means things that we put in our body, our system, the things that we're exposed to, pollutants, all of those things. I think
Yeah.
that may play a part in it. I don't know.
Mm.
Sometimes when people are different, I mean, there's different levels to this, right? There are chemical imbalances, and then there are people who are just depressed. Like,
Yeah.
you may go through something, you just don't know how to bounce back from whatever it is that you're going for. So it puts you in a temporary situation of depression. And I always tell my students, especially, suicide is, well, can we say that? Deleting yourself is a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Yeah.
Like, it's temporary. Whether it be you're going through a chemical imbalance and you need to get some medicine, or you're going through a situation and we need to help you get out of the situation you're in so you can feel better about yourself.
Did your friend work out? Did she work out?
She was a decent. I mean, she was a decent looking.
Well, I mean, did she work out? Like, did she exercise, like run or anything like that? Or?
It's hard to say because she did run track. So how them trackers be having them nice bodies that just live a lifetime.
Yeah. Because like I've always told people.
No, I don't know if she continued to work out. No, I don't. I can't. I don't have the answer to that.
I've always told people, if you feel sad, pick up running. Because when I haven't run in a long time, but I'm a long distance runner, and I'm telling you, when you hit them high miles, like 7-8 miles, the level of nirvana, euphoria, that runner's high is. And I'm trying to tell people, man, listen, I've never even been depressed, but when I get to those states of levels, it feels so, it's like you're in heaven almost. And I tell people so much, like run or take up swimming. I know a lot of particularly blacks don't swim, but take up swimming or something that really, like, I'm telling you, like, I really
think that what happens when it comes to, from my observation on her situation, depression part, I think that will work for that, right? Put more in, like, self-love, put more.
But you said it was more of a chemical imbalance.
But I think when you're talking about your mind playing tricks on you kind of a little bit, I think the medicine is important. I mean, I'm not advocating, talk to a doctor, but I think that's more of things to, I think that what I noticed that she was doing was she was going to things that will alter her mind. For example, lots of alcohol. Like, she was going through bottles. Really, and I'm like, girl, where did this bottle come from? Like, she was going through bottles, and then she, like I said, she was calling a lot of guys, like doing a one night stands, which was so out of character. It was almost like she was doing things to get her mind off of whatever it was going on in her mind. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm like,
I do.
This is not you. You are the most pickiest person when it comes to. But I think she was just trying to find a fix outside of getting medical assistance. Sense. So,
but you never not felt comfortable with her in your home.
I did after I spoke to the psychiatrist.
Yeah,
the guy who he wasn't a psychiatrist at the time. He just did his research in psychiatry. But after I spoke with him, that's the first time I became nervous, because when he said that if you don't get her help, it is very possible that she's going to think that you are against her as well. Yeah. And at that point, I can't think about me. I have a kid in the house. So I can't, it became very real for me at that point. But it did not stop me from trying to be a friend to her, to make sure somebody, because even when her mom called me, which is really her aunt, because it was a long story about that, but
I got it.
I was a little upset because and I took it out kind of on the mom, and I thought she needed help. Nobody was helping her. Because I felt like this was an incident that could have been prevented had we just given her, and I was mad at myself as well. Like, had we just gotten her some help, because she wanted to live. I know that for a fact. It's just, it was just too much. Yeah.
My cousin, it was just out of nowhere. Like, it was just like now that was wild, because it was just, nobody to this day understood why. Like, there was no symptom. It was none of the same patterns that me and you describe with our friends. And so you have that type of self-deletion too. It's just, somebody is, I don't know what they're going through, but they play a good poker face and kabluka. So yeah, we didn't.
I hear you. I'm just gonna turn my camera off so I can go get my charger, but I'm listening.
I got you. Guys, today is World Mental Health Day. And before we get to the topic, I wanted to talk about your mental health. And if you are considering self-deleting yourself, don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Uh, every day, in my opinion, is Friday in America. Ain't no point of deleting yourself, man, to be honest with you, man. Hold on for a second. Let me read the super chat. Spellcaster with the $5 Canadian. CT, what up? What up, my Niger brother? Can I get some blessed with that mod wrench? Oh, yeah. Definitely. Just don't time people out for no reason. That's all I ask. But definitely, here you go. Guys, get the likes up, share the video. Thank you so much, Spellcaster. Go ahead, Shantae. Go ahead.
No, that's all. I just want people to understand that there are people. Oh, I like myself so tiny on the screen. Yeah, it's just you, and I'm just your little helper on the side.
Yeah.
Oh, my face is so big on the screen. Anyway, it's good. But so I just want people to understand, like, everybody goes through something. You are not alone. We all go through things. It's just how we handle it, right? And so even if you need people to help you through stuff, just ask for help.
Yeah.
I would prefer you ask for help than to do things that may end up being, a permanent decision. Because there are people who, I'm telling you, everybody has somebody who loves them. And it does not just affect you, it affects everyone around you. Suicide, especially for people who are living, that's a hard thing to, like I said, this is a person I saw twice a year. And, so imagine a family member, a cousin, somebody you're close to doing that. So don't, it's important for people to understand that there is going to always be somebody. You have to find that person who is a part of your village, who is going to assist you through it. It's always somebody.
I think it's hard for men, probably, men who are going through this, because society doesn't really care about men. You ever thought about that too with these, with mental health with people,
I don't think that that's true.
Okay.
I love me some men.
I know you love men, but would you love a man that calls you talking about he's sad? And you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that.
So I think that people are so big on romantic relationships. You don't have to. For me, loving a man does not always have to be romantic. I love humans, right? So whether you're a female, male, whatever you are, I love humans. So if I see a man, because men are people too, I'm gonna try to assist if you're going through something and you confide in me. Like, this is broad. I can say before this incident, I just wouldn't know what to. I think a lot of people just don't know what that looks like, right? When you experience something, now you know how it looks. And so even if you can't help them, because we all have things on our plate, right? I would hope that people would try to at least, especially if you're somebody close to them, you're trying to at least get them some help, guide them in the right direction. That's just.
You're very optimistic, because
well, you have to be.
If I saw a man crying, I would say, get it together, jack off, and get back out there.
That's not. I don't think that's the right thing to do.
Really? Yeah, but I just don't.
Yeah, not without knowing the story. Now, some people need to hear that. I absolutely agree. Because most people are not mentally ill. Okay, first and foremost. So some people need to hear that. I'm not saying that should not be said. I'm just saying I think you should understand the situation first before you place judgment. And
you've cried at work, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, most women have cried at work. I've seen it a dozen times. But what if you came to work and one of your male colleagues was crying in the teacher's lounge?
Oh, I would assist the male colleague.
Really?
Absolutely.
Wow. I would. This is a person
I see every day.
I would make fun of them.
What? If they're going through something? Yeah. I had, it's so funny because this one guy at my job, he his wife just divorced him. Ooh. And I was like, because he had his kids with him, and I was like, oh my God, you're such a great father. And I was, he was like, well, my wife doesn't think so, she's divorced me. I was like, what? I didn't know, and so I talked him through that. Like, people don't, I gave him a little pep talk, but
he was a white guy.
I help people. Yeah, he was white.
I knew it. I would have clocked out that day. Okay. You don't get the joke.
I get it. Clock out. We don't clock out in my job.
No, I mean, I would have clocked out because a lot of white guys, they can become postal when they get divorced. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, he's not like it. You are being stereotypical.
That's not. Anybody shoot my ass.
True. Not of the men I know. I don't think the white men I've come across, they're not like that. So so far. So I don't see that. I don't feel threatened by him, if that's what you're saying.
No,
But I think that everybody goes through things. There are things that happen to everybody. It just may look a little different. Maybe it's not a divorce. Maybe somebody just broke up with you, or maybe your mom passed or going is sick. So there's always a story, right? And so people handle situations differently depending on the story. Everybody has been depressed at some point. I know you say that you live the great life, and that you wake up and you say how beautiful and handsome you are, with your red hat on and your blue blazer. And you're like, I am the man, but even the man has moments. So.
Well, I mean, I get sad, but not in a emotional way. I get sad.
Never to the point where you want to delete yourself.
Well,
I never did that.
I guess mine is more. Is it existential? When I look at humanity and I see that a lot of stupidity and ignorance, and I look up at the stars at night and I say, man, we're never gonna get to these stars with all this ignorance. That's how I get sad. It's like I think that if we all came together, we would be able to travel across the stars. See, yeah, but that's how it's not like the sad, like ooh, it's not like that kind of sad. No. But no, I do get sad sometimes, but not like in a depressed way. But
not depression, yeah. So we can, but again, we would, and that's a blessing, right? I think of things as blessings. So that's not your journey, right? But that is somebody. It's a lot of people's journey, and we have to be there if you can. I'm not saying you should go be depressed because somebody else is depressed, because people, it can put a lot on you, right?
Yeah.
But I can say if you can help in some type of way, sometimes it's just a hug, a smile. Being kind to some people, you'll be amazed at where kindness takes you.
Yeah,
being that matters.
Mark, have you ever thought about taking yourself to the upper room? You like when you think about white supremacy. Mark, go ahead, Mark.
Oh,
have I ever did what?
Have you ever thought about self-delete? Today is Real Mental Health Day, sir. Before I get to the main topic, we're talking about mental health and people who've self-deleted. Have you ever, I mean, you believe in white supremacy, this, that, and the other. Have you ever been super depressed about white supremacy and wanted to self-delete yourself? Yes.
Well, I don't believe in the term white supremacy. Like, I'm very particular on how I define things. So I wouldn't say I believe in white supremacy at all. I do know that America is an empire, and it functions as all the empires historically. So it's a brutal empire. But no, I've never thought about self-deleting myself. No.
Okay. Good. So you think about fighting this brutal empire?
Well, I think about the liberation of African people worldwide.
Okay.
Why do you think not with all these struggles, particularly with Black people, why do you think Black people do better when it comes to mental health? I see more white people who are suffering with mental health. They, you see a lot of these women, they're on these antidepressants, etc. What is it about the Black man's mind with all of this brutality from this government? Go ahead, sir.
I don't know, because we as a people are suffering too under the modern world. So I don't know how to answer that question. I don't know.
Have you ever had anyone in your family that suffers with mental health or sent themselves to the upper room, voluntarily speaking? You know what I mean by the upper room, right?
No. Yeah. No.
Okay.
No.
You don't know. Wait, I'm sorry. You do or you don't know what I mean by the upper room?
Oh yeah. They take their life, but I mean, there's dysfunction with humanity in general. With human beings, there's going to be dysfunction. So, there's going to be dysfunction. But I think that under the modern world, the injustice is just so overwhelming. And I don't know how to, I've never turned on the TV until now and seen bombs being dropped on a hospital. Like, You can turn on the TV. You can turn.
Mark, Mark, hold on for a second. What are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about?
Like what's going on in Palestine? Like you can actually
self-deletion. What does that do with self-deletion? What are you talking about?
So you don't think? I mean, it was hard on me. I mean, just to think that it's children in the hospital, and to see that's traumatizing.
Right? Did that make you depressed? Okay. How about okay? Go ahead. All right. Did that make you depressed?
Yeah. It did. It did. Okay. I mean, to see children.
And how did you get over it? Yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, I just, you just continue with life, and or me, I just put it to the side. You know what I'm saying, and continue my life. But that's depressing. That's
okay.
to think that level of evil is in the world.
Did you cry? Did you cry about the children in the hospital? Did you cry?
Yeah, I did.
You did? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to laugh.
Okay, so listen.
I didn't mean to laugh. I swear to God, Jesus Christ.
So that's fair, because there are people, I don't like to see that either. So, I mean, people just have a different level of tolerance, right? So he takes it personally. These are real people.
Yeah.
This is not a movie. These are real people. So it's fair that, anybody with a soul will feel like, a little hurt because of that. Yeah. So it's okay.
I didn't mean to laugh.
I'm
sorry.
Well, Chaotic, I mean, do you have children? Chaotic, do you have children?
I do not have children, no.
So, I know you have nieces and nephews.
I do. And I wouldn't want anything to happen to them. Of course not.
Right. If something like that happened to them, you wouldn't bust a tear at all.
Yes.
Okay, then. So stop fronting, man.
Maybe I would.
Stop fronting. Stop playing games, man. Stop fronting on YouTube.
Like 16, 17,
Mark, that was an honest answer, and you have
real little. It's, but not 17, 18.
And that is sad.
That is.
I would not. If I see that, I didn't. I try to, for my mental, I try to stay away from things like that. But that's sad. Like that's crazy.
Well, even when in cases here in America, when I seen, it was one brother, Mike Brown, I think, how the police, did him and just murdered him. Like, that, like, I mean, Martin Luther King said, "Injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere." And to see another human being's life just get taken unjustly, just, come on, man. Like,
if Clarence Thomas' life was taken unjustly, would you cry for him?
Who? Clarence Thomas?
Yeah.
Hell no.
See, and that's what I'm. See, Shantae, that's what I'm talking about. See, that's what I'm talking about.
So I think that this is the issue, right? I think that it would, and this is aside from mental health. I mean, I guess it could play into mental health.
Hold on for 1 second. Let me read this real quick. Republic Room with the $10 super chat. Black people aren't stronger mentally. Mental illness has been stigmatized in the Black community. In other news, Mark coming in clutch with the non sequitur. Good. Wow. Look at that. Thank you so much, Republic Room. Go ahead, Shantae. Go ahead.
I agree with that statement she just made, and I didn't want to correct because I wanted to look at the research, but I agree with that. That statement she just posted. But I for one, I cannot put my thoughts on other people. I don't care who you are. You've never done anything to me that I want you to die. Now your words now. Don't get it twisted. There are some people who may do horrendous, like they crazy acts, and and I may think twice about that. But if it's somebody who's innocent, who hasn't done anything to anybody, any kids or anything of that nature, I don't wish death on anybody. Like that's just not. It's again, there are exceptions. You hurt kids, you kill kids, or you do something. And you got these acts like these serial killers. Okay, the death penalty. I wouldn't kill you, but I can understand the death penalty. Are you doing somebody like an eye for an eye, so to speak?
Yeah.
But for people who are innocent, or maybe you just don't agree with their politics or how they think politically or things of that nature. No, I would never wish death on anybody, and I would be sad when any person loses their life who have not done anything to me personally or done anything to somebody else personally. That's just how I feel.
Go ahead, Mark. Oh, I just muted you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I have to disagree with that one because I mean Clarence Thomas. I mean, like, yo, he got to go, man. I ain't gonna
Why?
even
Why?
front, man.
What did Clarence Thomas do to you? Were
But do you
you?
mean he has to go as far as maybe we should, if the judicial, if you could, take a person out of judicial system and move him down, that means he has to go? Or are you saying he should be? Because I'm surely
Well,
you're not saying he should. I would hope that that's not what
no, I'm just talking about reality.
What
And
did
in
Clarence Thomas?
reality,
What did Clarence Thomas do to you?
he's a house Negro. And if you understand the historical origin of a house Negro and how
Is Ketanji Jackson
detrimental.
Brown? Is Ketanji Jackson Brown a house Negro woman? She's on the Supreme Court too. She a house Negro?
I would have to look more into her and do a little bit more. I can't speak about her off top because I don't know that
But
much about her. But
what did Clarence Thomas do? I'm confused. What did he do exactly?
well, when you understand that, there's this book that I read a long time ago called The American Directory of Certified Uncle Toms, right?
Oh,
And it talked, yeah, and it talked about the origin of the Uncle Tom and the House Negro and the role that they play in society, and particularly in the Black community, and how they function, and how detrimental they are to the overall health in the Black community. It's a very serious issue because, like, just the analogy that Malcolm gave between the house nigga and the field Negro, like
but
every
what does that
time
have to
the
do?
field,
But what does that have to do with
huh?
Clarence Thomas? What does Malcolm X have to do with Clarence Thomas? Malcolm X has been
No,
dead for 61 years.
no, I'm saying it's the same thing going on right now. It's the same game going on right now. Like, you have a lot of, you know what I'm saying, you have this is a war situation.
I understand that, but what did Clarence Thomas do? Can you elaborate on what Clarence Thomas did? What did he do? What did he
Well,
do?
did not Clarence Thomas get to where he was at with help from the damn, what's that program that affirmative
Affirmative
action,
action?
right?
Yeah.
Right. Didn't he make it to where he did because of affirmative action?
You tell me. I have no idea.
And so for a guy to get to a position because of something affirmative action, and then when you get there to turn around and say, "Oh, affirmative action is no good," like, no, we should get rid of affirmative action, just let you know what type of person this guy is. It just lets you know. That's just one of the things.
Okay, how about this? What landmark cases has he yayed or nayed on that you agreed or disagreed with? How about that? Let's break this down because honestly, it looks like, and no offense, it sounds like you've been drinking. You probably haven't, but let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. What cases has he yayed or nayed on that you've agreed or disagreed with?
Well, if you look
You've
at
been
his
drinking.
record,
You've been drinking. You've been drinking.
man, stop playing because I said I disagree with
No,
Terrence
I'm just
Thomas.
asking a question. Have you been drinking? Yes or no, bro? Just yes or no. Yes or
I
no.
don't drink.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
But why would you ask me that though?
Because you're not answering the question. You're doing a lot of ums and ahs, and you're talking about Malcolm X, and I'm just trying to
Okay,
ask
so I
about
mentioned
Clarence Thomas.
I mentioned affirmative action, right? I mentioned affirmative action, right? And I said, to my understanding, that a big part of him getting to where he was at was affirmative action. Did I not say that?
Sure.
Okay, so don't you think it's very hypocritical for a person to get to a certain position because of affirmative action, and then when you get to that position, make it obsolete for other people to benefit from it too, particularly your people? Don't you think that's very hypocritical?
Is it possible to assume that affirmative action benefited all types of people when it first was established in the 60s or the 70s, but right now you don't really need it. Like you don't really need affirmative action anymore. Do you agree with that?
Why would okay? So
So
with the long history of like plantation slavery, getting up, going to work every day, and never getting paid for 200 years, Jim Crow, segregation, lynching, all of that, slave code, like all of that, you being held back for not being it being a law for you not being able to read, and if you get caught reading, you get killed. Like
Oh, God. Hey,
so,
bro, do you believe in meritocracy? Do you believe in meritocracy?
what is meritocracy?
You earn your job, a position, status on your own efforts. On your own efforts.
So what? So you must have just missed what I just said. You had a whole population of people.
Slavery. Okay. All right.
You had a whole population that sat back and watched slaves get up every day, and they didn't do no work, and they benefited off of this slave labor. And then you gonna tell me, do I do I believe in earning your own or earning your own way? Are you drinking? Have you been drinking?
Believe it or not, I drank earlier this morning, like 1 in the morning. Believe it or not,
Okay,
got a beer.
so
Got a beer.
in America, the population of America is about 388 million. Out of the
Okay.
388 million, you got maybe 800 families that has more wealth than the combined rest of the whole population.
Yes.
That's criminal to you,
It's capital.
or you want me to believe they earned it, right? They through their sweat of their hard brow, they earned it.
Well, technically, they did earn it. They technically did earn it. Yeah.
Yeah, and how did they do that? They
Well,
entrepreneur.
a lot of families are
They
descendants of.
entrepreneur their way.
Yeah, man, you gonna let me answer the question? Hey, bro, Mark, you gonna let me answer the
Okay.
question?
All right.
Well, a lot of these families are descendants of the robber barons. A lot of these families come from old money. It's certainly you can assume that new money, like maybe you could say the Gates family. I think his father was a lawyer. They weren't wealthy, but new money like the Gates, Bill Gates earned it. Don't you think that Bill Gates and his family earned that money? Earned it. I mean, they did usher in the computer age. I mean, to a
Really,
degree.
really.
Yeah. Don't you use
So,
Microsoft?
do,
Haven't you used
do you know?
Microsoft?
Do you know who Noam Chomsky is? Have you ever heard of Noam Chomsky?
I'm very familiar with Noam Chomsky. Yes.
Okay, so if you listen to Noam Chomsky, he clearly outlined how most of the inventions we have did not come from capitalism. It came from the public sector. And usually what capitalists do is they just sit back in the cut and watch the public sector put in work and build things up, and then they just come in and buy it out.
And what's wrong with that?
Well, they didn't put in any work. They didn't do nothing.
They
That's
put in the work to
capitalism.
buy it out.
So
They put in the work to
all
buy
these
you out.
lies about capitalism. No, all these lies about how the world will fall apart without capitalism is a lie.
But why do you live in a capitalistic society?
Well, my ancestors were forced here, and after World War I and World II, the European powers went out around the world and said, either you get down and lay down, you're going to structure your government so it can be open to markets, and that's why I live in the world that I live in.
How do you know that your ancestors were forced here? Who told you that? Do you have proof of
Who
that?
told me?
Yeah, do you have proof?
So there's no proof of a transatlantic slave trade. Like that shit is just a figment of people's imagination. Don't you
Mark,
speak
hey,
English?
Mark, he's messing with your head right now.
No, I'm not. Shantae, hold on for a second. Hold on.
Listen,
Shantae,
he's messing with your head right now. But what I want to say is like real fast.
Oh, he messing with my head.
Yeah, because you're about to go. You don't have to answer that question. I think I don't think you should answer that.
Shantae, let me ask you a question. He said that his ancestors were forced here. Were your ancestors forced here, Shantae?
Listen, I'm here. I don't even think that far back.
Because I mean, you kind of look like a Native American. I mean, I don't think your ancestors were.
No, I'm not Native.
Well, how do y'all end up speaking the English
Mark,
language?
this is not an argument, Mark. We know how you got here. Okay, you don't have to answer that question. Chaos is.
That's your hair, right? That's all your hair, right? That's your hair.
Yes.
I don't think
African American
women have that kind of hair.
Black people.
I think you're a Native. I don't think your ancestors were in slavery. I think you might be a Native American. Yeah, what'd you say?
No, black is beautiful, honey. Let me just tell you.
I didn't say black wasn't beautiful. I'm just saying I don't think all melanated people were forced here or slaves, and some melanated people, I think, were already here and they were freed people.
So why do they speak English as a language?
Mark, I'm not gonna be up with the shenanigans.
I'm not. No, I'm just. Listen,
Mark,
this
man we know about slavery. Chaos knows about slavery. He studied it. He just told you his rundown on his background, his education. You do not have
to be honest with you. I think he's like Officer Tatum and Candace Owens.
That's what you should think.
I think he ain't fucking with me because everything I say is on point. So
yeah, you haven't said why Clarence Thomas. I mean, you said that Clarence Thomas needs to go.
Okay, right? So just read the book, The American Directory of Certified Uncle Tom, and it'll tell you why.
You follow sports? Okay, how about this? You follow sports? You follow sports, Mark?
Yeah, not as much as I used to, but yeah.
Should there be affirmative action on an NBA team? How come CT can't play on the Lakers and make $50 million a year? There should be affirmative action for 5 foot people like me. LeBron, why should he get $50 million a year? Why? I should call the Lakers and say, there should be affirmative action here. This isn't fair to have 7 feet tall people playing in the NBA. What about the 5'2" people? I'm not 5'2", by the way. What about the 5'3"? There should be affirmative action there. Don't you think so?
Well, I tell you what should happen, though. I think the people in the stands that work in the concession stands and contribute to the process of the NBA, I think they should get some money. I think they should get
them out of here. He said affirmative action is the reason why Clarence Thomas is where he's at. Fine. Okay, whatever. He said that affirmative action should still be a big thing here. That's what he's alluding to.
Well, he's
okay. Well, I should be able to call the Lakers organization and say, "Hey, this isn't fair to only have 5 people on the starting lineup. Maybe there should be 6 people. Maybe you should let me play because of affirmative action." Go ahead, Shantae.
No, people are gonna have different views on different things. Mark, I'm glad.
No, I'm saying he playing games.
Hold on, nothing will ever cure the minds of black
people. Why you playing games?
I don't think. Let me just say this real fast. I hope Mark is still just in the.
He's here, but I gotta read the super chat. We're probably going to find out super chat. Nothing will ever cure the minds of black folks who continue to peddle this victimhood narrative. Mark never experienced what he speaks. This is psychosis.
Oh Lord, psychosis. Listen, but Mark, I think the whole question was, we started out saying, would you feel bad if a person who happened to be Clarence Thomas passed away? And you just had this entire speech about how you don't like when people are killed, for no reason. Those are just it's okay for him to believe the things he's believing. You think he should be murdered because of not murdered, but you wouldn't feel empathy if he were, if he died just because of his beliefs. Mark? I think Mark got sidetracked. I hear some women in the background.
These people don't. He doesn't care about. He cares about innocent people being deleted, but then he says, "Oh, wow, never mind, Clarence Thomas." Anyway, let me see if he's back real quick. Hang tight for me. Hang tight. Go ahead, Mark.
Yo, let me respond to what that sister said. Like, it's amazing to me
Hold on, Mark. Let me just read this. Gary with the 5 Canadian. It happens more often than we think. Postpartum is an excuse they gave women for doing that. Women off their offsprings on a high level, they hide it. All right, go ahead, Mark. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mark.
Yo, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing to me how the world, when it comes to black people, the rules all of a sudden just totally change. Like for
Mm,
instance, I'm talking to this Italian man, right? And I asked him
mm.
what he was. I asked him what he was. He said, "I'm Italian." He didn't say he was an Italian American. He just said he was Italian. That, that's where his roots are, and he's never questioned. You know what I'm saying? But the moment black people look back at who they have been historically, they're questioned, they're ridiculed. You can't look back. It's not relevant. How can anybody tell another human being that they have no right to look at their mother or their grandmother or their great grandmother and relate to their life and what they've been to? That's crazy. But
Let me say
it's,
this real fast.
Okay.
Can I say something real fast, Kate?
Go ahead.
Mark, I just want you to be, I want to be very clear. If that's how you feel, I don't knock you, just like I don't knock anybody else for how they feel in their shared experience. I'm just saying when the original question was about somebody passing away. That's what my thoughts are coming from. Because just like you have views, he has views that you guys just don't agree on where you stand, right? I wouldn't want anything to happen to you either. Like, I'm not knocking it. Let's be very clear. I'm not knocking anything everything. If you believe affirmative action should be there, I'm not discussing that. I think my biggest point was the beginning, the question at hand, which was, would you feel a certain way, or would you be sad if a man, take away his views, who has done nothing to you personally, passed away? And you just said that you would feel that way by something else that took place early in the conversation. So I just want to be very clear on my stance on this.
Yeah, they should have affirmative action on the Vogue runway too. There should be
no,
5
but
models walking up and down the runway. Yeah.
this dude be playing games, but I guarantee you, if you look at Clarence Thomas' record and his voting for his policies, I guarantee you more than 90% of them is going to be directed against the black community.
Like
It's
what?
going to be
Which cases has he yayed or nayed against that prove your point? Which case?
That's a fair question. That's a fair question.
How about this? Come back in 5. Okay. Research it real quick. Come back in 5 minutes and tell us the case that he yayed or nayed on that disenfranchised black people. Man, come on, man. Yeah, because you just talking now, and it's kind of getting me upset, to be honest with you. Because you just saying stuff at this point.
I would like to know the answer to that, though, if he comes back.
Yeah, come back. Yeah, I'll give you 5 minutes, man. Yeah, research something and come back in 5 minutes and tell us what Clarence Thomas yayed or nayed on. That's his only job as a Supreme Court justice. What has he yayed or nayed on? Mm-hmm. Which landmark case that set black people back? You guys have been brainwashed, not you, Shan, but you guys have been brainwashed to believe that Clarence Thomas is a bad person. Go ahead, Gary. What's up, man? What say you, sir? Go ahead.
Good afternoon.
Hi,
It's
Gary.
crazy. How you doing, darling? You know what's funny? Do you notice that most black folks hate progressive black people? That's why they don't like. That's why they don't like Clarence Thomas. This man achieved the highest award to reach the Supreme Court justice as a black man, but they'd rather celebrate Tupac. That's what's wrong with black folk. We don't celebrate anything good. We celebrate the dregs and all the things that make us look bad. That's who they have respect for. Now, going on the topic of your program here about women killing or I shouldn't even, offing their offspring.
Oh, well, first I haven't even got to that yet. We were talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Today is World Mental Health Day, and me and Shan were talking about stories of our experiences with mental health and friends who have deleted themselves. I had a friend who deleted himself, and Shan had a friend who deleted herself, and the stories were very similar. The patterns of paranoia, the giving away of money and other goods for no reason, no explanation. Both of our friends did that, and then eventually, so that's what we're talking about first.
Okay, that's happening because back in the 80s when they closed all the mental
Hey, Gary, can
institutions
you come into
around
your
the
mic a
world.
little bit more? I don't know what's with your mic again.
Sorry, bro. Is
Oh,
that better?
it's a lot
Okay.
better. Go ahead. Yep.
Back in the 80s when they closed all the mental institutions, a lot of people were put on the street. It wasn't advertised, but it was thousands, hundreds of thousands of people put on the street that did not have mental capabilities. Guess what? A lot of these people started having children. Now, when you're going there with not full capacity of your brain and you're having children, guess what those children have? The same problem, but worse. So those children would be like your generation. And guess what? Your generation had kids. And
Mm.
now you can see what happened. Look at the kids today compared to the kids in your day. You can't even compare them in my day because we had two things. We had to have respect for elders. That doesn't exist today. And we had to have self-respect. And that really doesn't exist today. So when you see these people deleting themselves, it just came down from a lot of people without the mental capacity procreated, and and these children, you see the effects of what happens to them. They can't deal with regular life. Look, today somebody can cyberbully you. How is that possible when you can turn off your computer?
Mm.
So things that they say are problems today, they're not really problems. They just lack common sense.
Yeah.
I guess it say something real fast, and I know you guys are not gonna like this, but this is research based. It is proven, or it is stated that if you, well, in reefer and weed the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay. If you smoke before the age, I think it was like 15 or 16, you increase your chances of schizophrenia by 70%. You can look that up. It's a high. So if you want to try, especially if you have children, you might want to keep them away from substances such as, of that nature. Maybe that'll help with the situation, especially if you know this runs in your family. If you have a family member who is mentally ill, you may want to just tread lightly. And especially, and even if you don't, again, environmental, plays a part. And that's one of the ways that has been researched, is research back. So just wanted to throw that out there.
You're
Gary
telling
brought
me,
something up I wanted to speak on real quick and then jump off. I've got my grandson, so I've only got a few minutes. In 1963, the government stopped funding for those mental institutions that would get cleared out later. 1966 was the first count of a school shooting. So that's a neat little correlation. Once they stopped the funding, started clearing out those nut houses, then the school pew pew thing started. So there's probably a hell of a correlation there. Anybody?
you're correct, Uncle Bill. Remember, we're just experimenting. And when you look at the whole grand scheme of things, how we living now is an experiment. What they've been running since the 1700s. Now we're up into the 20, like it's 300 years running. And you can see the difference of how the experiment is going. When you have the richest country in the world have the sickest people in the world, there's something wrong with that.
Agreed.
You know, understand?
And something else, like in those other countries, like in Africa, there are people that delete themselves, but not a lot of people care about those people. They were uh, shunned by the community first. and then they would go do that, that type of stuff. So it does happen everywhere.
To me,
Certain, I think, I think there really is a race component to it, though. As a glider, me personally, I was raised to be perfect, right? Anything less than perfection was unacceptable. And when you're raised on that level, it can mess with your head.
you're not wrong. But Shan, I'm going back to you when you talked about marijuana. You know that's propaganda, right?
No,
Oh, I thought you was talking about cigarettes.
no,
No,
I
no.
was talking about marijuana.
Oh,
You know, I just throw what the research says. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not the person who did the research. All I can say is like, look, it won't. If you know it's at age 17 and you feel like you gotta have it, wait a little bit. You understand what I'm saying? I don't think that anything you should be smoking personally. You should be smoking anything, in my opinion. Your lungs, anything burnt going into your lungs cannot be good. There are other ways, but I'm just saying what the research suggests.
Okay.
I don't
I'm
know
gonna
how
say
they got it.
all
I'm
right.
not a doctor.
That's the problem, my darling.
Well,
And
no,
that no, no, hold on, let me finish.
Mhm.
First of all, before we take any research as fact, we have to know how they got it and who did it and what agenda they did it on. I can tell you one fact that you probably don't know. Nobody in the history of man has ever died from marijuana. Nobody.
So I don't think that so I think that two things can be true at the same time. You don't so if somebody develops schizophrenia and they come to kill themselves, they're not going to say it was marijuana. They can say, okay, this person smoked, and we can just assume that just because they did, you know. So I know marijuana in itself doesn't kill. You're not going to smoke it and go and do something, right? So I think that that's the thing. It could be indirectly. I'm just telling you that I believe any substance outside of the natural, right, can probably have an effect on you in your younger years when you're developing. Would you not agree with that? Anything that's not natural to you.
Okay. First
Would
of
you agree
all,
with that, Gary?
yes, but
And maybe
marijuana.
it's the way you're
Well,
taking the marijuana. It could be the
marijuana is
smoke.
natural though.
Right. So maybe it's the way that you're the way that you're consuming it. The marijuana itself is natural, right? But maybe it's the consumption of it, the way you're consuming it. You have to, if you're smoking it, no smoke is good for your lungs, period. Right. So it may be different things. Maybe it's the thing that you're putting it in. Maybe that's not the marijuana. Maybe it's the whatever that is, you roll it up in. Maybe it's that. It could be you understand what I'm saying? So
So
I don't know. I'm just going.
here's that's the problem, baby. We have to know. I've been smoking marijuana for 52 years. I'm
Okay.
60.
Okay.
I was able to have a job for 20 years,
Mhm.
retire at 40. So
Okay.
when somebody says marijuana stops you from doing anything, that it doesn't. You stop yourself.
So Gary,
Yes, darling.
my mom is a smoker. She's 75 years old. That
Hmm.
doesn't she has never had lung cancer. You know, God forbid, I hope she never has lung cancer. Everything doesn't affect everybody the same way. It doesn't say, it's not saying 100% if you smoke marijuana. It just said it increases your chances. It didn't say it's guaranteed or it's going to happen to everybody. It's just saying it increases your chances.
But do
So
you know that? Oh, okay, let me give. You said it increases your. Do you know butter increases your chances more than marijuana?
you said, well, no, I'm sorry.
Butter that you put on your bread.
Oh, I don't disagree with that, but we were talking
Okay.
about,
All
right?
right, all right. And that's. But what I'm trying to show you is things that are really affecting our health. They never talk about it. Marijuana is probably one of the best substance for so many different things that it solves, but they don't want to put it on the market. Like I can give you the history of marijuana and why it's illegal. It's only illegal because of big pharma and the drug companies.
Don't
because
forget the cotton industry that killed it first.
oh, because marijuana, with marijuana, you don't have to put any foreign substance in your body. It helps glaucoma, headaches, all kinds of different things. Guess
Pain,
what? Guess
So are
mood,
what?
you, Gary? So are you an advocate
appetite.
for kids under 16 smoking marijuana?
I'm an advocate for anybody that can handle what they're doing with brains. Like if you're smoking marijuana and you're doing nothing and it's making you a loser, you shouldn't do that. You have some people that smoke marijuana and then you put them in a classroom and it's like, is Einstein in here with us? Because
Right. It becomes a vice
certain
to them, I guess.
some people use it as a concentration thing. I
Mhm.
used to smoke marijuana at work. I had to stop. Do you know why? I worked too hard because I was so in my concentration was so in depth when I was
Gary, can I
on that.
ask you if you're ADD or
Nope,
ADHD?
nope.
Okay.
Put it this way: I have not had a cold, a flu, or any kind of those sicknesses since the 80s. The last time I had a cold was 1987. It's 2025. COVID. I never put on a mask. I never took an injection. I walked around people with COVID, never got that. I go for my physical every year. My doctor, when I did all my lungs and everything, I'm 60 years old. And I smoke a pack of cigarettes a day and about 10 spliffs a day, every day. I've been doing that for the last 15 years. My lungs, my heart, everything is above average for my age group. Now, if marijuana and cigarettes, like everybody's affected differently. You had George Burns that smoked cigars from he was 9 years old. He lived to 99, and he didn't die of lung cancer. You have Christopher Reeve's wife, who never ever smoked a cigarette in her life or smoked. She died of lung cancer. Are you understand what I'm saying? Like everybody's affected differently. There's no
Sure, but
one
you
magic bullet.
understand exactly. So do you understand when I say it's not it increases your chances? It does not mean you will necessarily
Well, it's just like having a swimming pool increases your chance of drowning.
absolutely, especially if you can't swim, right? So
Yeah.
it's just say it's increasing your chance. It didn't say it's going to happen. It just increases your chance.
I actually thought that shit was a myth, but it turns out it's not a myth. That a lot of black people don't know how to swim.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
Oh
Mark,
yeah, because they tell us that, and it's our parents. I blame our parents for this. They make us be afraid of normal things. Like, thank God my mom, my pa wasn't like that. It's like we had to do all that stuff. We had to go to swimming lessons. Because you know what my mom and pa used to say? You're not gonna be like them other black people. You ain't afraid of nothing. Fear.
Mark,
That
you're back, buddy. Did you find,
Mark.
Mark, did you find the case that Clarence Thomas yayed or nayed that disenfranchised or put black people behind? Yes, sir. Go ahead. What's the case?
Yeah, I looked at a couple of them. The one of the ones jumped out is that 4.2 million that he took from that billionaire white dude Hanson, I think his name was.
See, this is why the cops beat black men. Bow! Did not tell you to get your license and registration. No, I ain't gonna do it. Did I not ask him to name a case? Yes. Supreme Court
I got
justices, I did a live stream about it, Mark. They are, thank you so much, Bill. They are able to take gifts. It is, to me, I will admit, but all the justices do it. All the left leaning and right leaning justices take gifts. It ain't like they're getting paid millions of dollars a year. What case did he yay or nay against that kept people black? back. You said this, sir. I want to know the case, Mark. What is the case? Don't tell me about a goddamn gift he got from a billionaire. Yes, we all know that the Supreme Court justices get gifts or receive gifts, sir. What is the case? What is the case?
So while Mark is getting that together, chaos. Now you know you could have used another word to say besides black people getting beaten. It's choice of words.
But Shan,
Choice of words. Unacceptable.
I'm asking him a direct
I get what
question.
it could have been said a little different. Choice of words. We're working on it.
Yeah, but he telling the truth.
Yeah, Gary.
Yeah, so like, and that's the problem with you black folks, eh? Don't say it like that. It sounds so bad. But
Listen,
the truth,
Gary.
the truth is bitter, eh?
No, Gary. That's not.
Shan,
you can have a conversation with people
Shan,
and not be insulting. People
Shan,
will
Shan,
receive that better
Shan,
if it's coming from a good place and you're really trying to teach. You should not be insulting.
This is not, no offense, ma'am. This is not your 4th grade classroom, and you're dealing with children. You're talking like this is a grown damn man.
Okay.
And Shan, no offense, but you've pretty much skated through life with your looks. Let's be honest about it. So,
but I'm still
you could get away with certain things. This is a man. This is why a lot of black men get that ass beat by cops, because they can't follow directions. Sir, do you have your license and registration? Well, I gotta give you that. I'm a Moor.
You should definitely do better.
You a Moor? Bow. See,
there's
they get to talking about their Moors and sovereign citizens, and the cop he's hey man, I just want your license and registration. And you got a Moor talking about he's a sovereign citizen living off the land and he traveling. I can see why the cops beep. I can see why. Now, I'm not a tough guy, but I'm asking Mark a simple question. Am I doing too much, Gary? Please let me know.
Yes,
Gary
you are.
He said,
yeah, you're doing too much, man. I'm going to tell you why. Because you're expecting one of these people that make a comment actually have facts behind it. They only say things they hear. That's the problem with most black people. They don't talk what they know. They talk what they hear from somebody else.
Can I answer that case? Because I feel about that.
Lena, remember yesterday I told you, you got to start using your light skin as a benefit. You're light skin. Just turn the camera on.
I look crazy. I'm a turn on
light skin. Just turn the camera on.
What does light skin have to do with it? She's
Shan, please.
Shan,
you've been doing YouTube. You know how the algorithm works. Let's stop pretending.
You needed to get the algorithm.
You're pretending you're black too with the good hair. Stop.
Yes.
Trying to trick a nigga that your ancestors on the plantation with his. Come on.
Light skin privilege. So
here goes the thing. Here goes the thing.
You're pretty though. You're really pretty.
Oh, thank you.
Gary is from Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
He knows how them black cops are.
Yes, I've been
in Nigeria. Them black ass cops, they don't really give you a lot of leeway over there in these countries.
I heard.
Mark is an example. You heard him talk about Mike Brown. He's an example of the defiant Negro. He would have been in that car right along with George Floyd, talking about my mama, man, help me, man. Sir, we're just asking you for your license and registration.
He just doesn't know how to, so he can be better with how he presents.
Shan, you were there. The man said, well, he took this from a billionaire. And all the justices take gifts. They make $200,000 a year.
Well, he probably didn't know that. So this is your opportunity to.
Can I argue against Clarence Thomas?
Shan, this is not an IEP meeting. Okay, please. Listen, you can't do that with me. I know the deal with
the cases that
this is a grown damn man. I'm asking him, what are the cases? Go ahead. I'm not yelling at you, Shan. Go ahead, Lena. Go ahead.
I'm itching to get that coon. I cannot stand Clarence Thomas. Ever since I was a little girl, I seen him on Anita.
Lena.
Let her speak. She
No,
wants. She
no.
has a. She wants to
Because
speak on
Shan, because Shan, because you don't like Clarence Thomas, Lena, or Mark, because you've been brainwashed by the media. All the stupid comedians, all the stupid pro-blackity blacks like D.L. Hughley, they've all undermined this man for 30. Was it Gary? He was appointed in what, 89, 90, 35, 36 years.
But you know that was all a
I
lie.
think
Eh?
it's a healthy debate, though. She was coming with
No,
her.
no. What do you need? What do you need? That thing with the black woman? That was all a lie. That was a setup for him not to be a justice, and they used
Hey, you
her
guys,
to
I
do
have
that.
to leave. Thank you for having me up here.
Thank you so much, Shan.
Beautiful.
See
Take
you.
care,
Oh,
Shan.
you're exotic beautiful.
Thank you so much.
She's exotical. I'd love to see a dark skinned woman that got features you're not used to seeing.
Who's dark skinned? Whoa. Who's dark skinned?
She's like medium brown.
Oh,
A
if
medium
you don't stop, if you stop.
She's exotical.
Stop.
She's an exotical.
I'm dark skinned. If she's dark skinned, I'm
She's a medium brown. She's a
Don't
medium.
worry, chaotic. They think Haley Berry is black, and she got
Holly
a white
Berry
mama.
is black